Hello everyone, I'm Peijian Cheng, independent scientist from China. How are you? Now I will begin to release my discovery about the cause of diabetes. That is one. The other is the cure for all types of virus flu. I think one thing people all over the world cannot understand, but I can feel bitterly, is that every one of the human beings can sit at home and release what you want to release, but I have to pay heavily to fly to some other countries and stay in hotels every day and release informations. And 2 years ago, I went to Africa to investigate the diabetes situation in Africa. And now in April, I arrived in the United States, April 2018. I actually already spent more than $40,000. Well, it's bitter to ordinary Chinese, but I do not mean money. Just the inconvenience I have confronted with, and that's the inconvenience of China. Of course, every country has the positive side and the negative side. I think on this respect, all the countries are almost the same. 250,000 people died in the volcano eruption in the past 500 years, but every year more than 5 million people died in diabetes. I have been carrying on an experiment for nearly 30 years, and this experiment suddenly gave rise to the cause of diabetes. I divert my working experiment onto diabetes. In less than 1 month, a second proof sprang out, which gives support to the first proof. I expanded my experiment and concentrate my efforts onto the cause of diabetes. At that time, I still think it's the possible cause of diabetes. I showed part of the authentic evidence to a veteran doctor, and she sighed. She never witnessed this before her lifetime. Then I start to choose the target in my experiment, the progress getting much faster. Then the evidence is accumulated. Since the cause of diabetes is quite some distance away from people's knowledge about diabetes, I think there needs some experiment in the inside structure of the cause of diabetes. That's why I decided to write to the then City Mayor Han Zheng and appeal for government support. My appeal for support inside and outside China bring me very bad impression about human beings. Now I strongly against those people who always sing songs of praise of human beings. Now all over the world, you see, the powers being monopolized, the news media being monopolized, everything's monopolized, even the medical society are also monopolized. The harmful chemical element which causes diabetes is being pushed at full speed all over the world by the structure of the monopolized society. The WHO of the United Nations recommend this harmful chemical element to the people of the world as safe. That is, the preservatives. Please remember, the preservatives of food. It is a general term, and now I think in the world, different types of preservatives has more than 20. In the year 2005, the WHO of the United Nations recommend potassium sorbate as the safe preservative for food. It recommends to the world of human beings to use it. And actually, it is the main cause of diabetes. That is the cause, that is why diabetes rise throughout the world. It is until today, the governments and the medical world still keep their position to ward off my sound. In this area, the strong muscle and the high intelligence quotient really do not help. There is a typical example in Russia. In Russia, generally speaking, the temperature is very low. They don't need food preservatives. And the average diabetes patients population covers around 4% to 5%. However, in 1998, President Putin exported 76 MiG-27 fighter to a large country. In return, he get 5 million package of fast noodle, which has extremely high contents of food preservatives. It opens the rising passage of diabetes in Russia. Now in Russia, the diabetic population exceeds 9%, and the blood glucose damage population exceeds 19%. Some natural plants like cumin and pepper, people use them to add flavor to food. They also have an influence on diabetes. The effect of cumin can be 5 times stronger as pepper. And in today's diabetic population, in the countries like Mexico, Turkish, and China, Xinjiang Autonomous Group, minority group, it may take 15% of the total diabetic population in this region. I mean, caused by cumin. It is more likely caused by cumin plus food preservatives. The food preservatives here mainly refer to the food antiseptics. These food antiseptics destroy E. coli, including some specific types of E. coli, by means to damage the membranes of the cell of these E. coli. By the time I appealed the government to support my research and experiment is to find the damage of what type of E. coli actually caused the diabetes and what sequestration of these E. colis which support the function of islet cell, or these antiseptics directly cause the damage of islet cell. In my experiment, I also find that Danish lactic acid bacteria does no good to diabetes and even can moderately rise the blood sugar level of diabetes patients. Without government help, the paramount view of the relationship between antiseptics, food antiseptics, and the blood sugar level are very clear. There is no story like type 1 and type 2 diabetes. These stories are created by the traditional medicine for diabetes. The diabetes caused by antiseptics rise directly, quickly, and continually. There's no limit. According to the British standard, 10s, 20s, 30s, and even until the death of the patients. There's no limit, no type 1, type 2. Since the instances of the relationship between food antiseptics and diabetes are all around the world, it can be considered as the largest scientific experiment and test human beings ever have. And every year, more than 5 million people died in this type of experiment. I appeal all the medical research institute carry out duplication tests to experience and feel what is called diabetes.